Welcome to the Artful Minds by the Atelier magazine, where we plug into the pulse of creation.
Welcome to Atelier magazine. Today we have our guest, Mihir Srivastava. He's a journalist and he has worked with magazines like Telka, India Today, Outlook, and he always addressed different subjects like politics, environment, wildlife, and investigations. But as of I know Mihir, he's very close to human, and his way of addressing the humanity is art and his writings. And the way he look at people is a different uh, aspect. And his art is also absolutely different, which I need another whole day to talk to him about it. But to make it short, we'll start for the day. Mihir, welcome.
Thank
We
you
will,
very much.
we want you to give a small intro about you for a minute.
That's a very difficult thing to do. But I am a journalist by profession, and I am a writer and an artist by hobby. And I am very interested in people because when I document people, either by way of writing or documenting, I get a better sense of my own self because I feel I am a microcosm, and every experience illuminates a certain part of me. And so, for my own good, I am interested in humanity in all its manifestation. And that's why I've started this little media organization called Vyakti, where I document people, humanity, to make sense of the world.
We'll start on our first question.
Yeah.
What actually motivates you to pursue the narratives you do? And what are some of the toughest challenges? Because as you do it very personally, how it is you address your challenges like logistically, ethically, and emotionally, while documenting these people in very candid form.
So first of all, I say my motivation is that I'm existentially bored. Nothing, engages me for long. So therefore, I have to look up for new topics to be engaged existentially, and I think that is a great motivation. Being bored generally, existentially, is a great motivation to try new things. Uh, as far as the challenge is concerned, well, I follow people. I like the kind of choices they make because we are born and we have a destiny, and there is not much we can choose. But once we get into this world, we start to make our choices, and in the process, create our own destiny. And I'm so intrigued by the kind of choices people make, and you in particular. There are people who are a part of the mainstream. 95% of people make similar choices, but there are some who stand out significant. And these are the kind of people that I'm interested, irrespective whether they're wealthy, rich, famous. That doesn't matter. What matters to me is the kind of choices they're making. And I feel there isn't any challenge because all you need to do is to keep your senses alert and let your energies flow and let that and sort of imbibe the energy that you want to sort of document, and things that start to happen on its own. So sometimes, of course, you want to do profile somebody badly, it won't happen, but say a couple of years down the line, the same person will walk up to you and say, hello, write about me. So the point is that you just engage yourself at a very energy level with the whole humanity, and people keep walking into their life and you feel inspired enough to write about them.
As you closely interact with people's energy and their choices, they're very, very personal to people. When people normally interview, they're basically, what everybody sees. But I always felt from your writings, you go very personal. Has it changed the way you look at the stories, like repetitive, or has it changed your look, your attitude towards your life? Has it changed, influenced you at any time?
Yeah, like I said, I'm existentially bored. So if I don't look at these very peculiar aspects, and these peculiar aspects are outside the comfort zone, they are very innate to that person. And unless you deal with those, you're not describing that person, you're just dealing with the peripheries. And peripheries, dealing with anything at the peripheral level is very boring. So I seek not, my objective is not to write a profile. My objective is to engage. My objective is to be inspired. And that can only happen if you engage in a certain way, and it is not a deliberate act. So like for instance, if I do a profile for 1,000 words, I might as well devote things in terms of how I experience that person. And there's always been my objective that if I experience person in a certain way, my writing should be able to sort of replicate that experience, so people who read it should also feel that they're like sitting by the side of that person and observing him or her closely.
But when it comes to journalism as a background, you have been working with such eminent, notable publications. Uh, but this word journalism, now today's the world looks at journalism in a very different way. That particular thing, it was difficult for you to working with these aspects, was difficult for you to attract or you to attract or draw people towards you, or is there was a difficulty in such a space?
Well, I didn't feel the difficulty, and people did come to me, and I can't take the credit for it because it is beyond me. But what I can say in terms of journalism, I feel this is the real journalism. See, at the end of the day, which is very sorry state affairs, the journalists are always influenced by extraneous consideration, whether it's their ideology, left, center, their own personality, their own interest, their whole idea to run the media organization, their rapport with the state, the government, all these, their own, ethical leanings and their own part of, linguistic identity, everything, this individual aspect creep into their journalism. And so the objective part of journalism becomes very subjective. And therefore, because people are so intertwined with their own self that they don't observe the others enough. And therefore, I mean, this is a very radical thing to say, but I felt that journalism is now, in the way it is practiced, has become a lot more like a propaganda. Everybody is called the confirmation bias. I have a view, I will find reasons to substantiate my view. I am not looking at the larger picture. But when I dealt with people in this way, I had no idea of who they were. And I don't even want to, like when I profiled you, I didn't want to get your detail, where you live, how you, things you do, your family, nothing. I just wanted to deal with how I experienced you in that space, having a meal, sharing a meal with you. So that is the whole idea. I want to bring a disconnect with this whole extraneous existential consideration, which we are so inherently get into judging people. So it's just that kind of an experience.
Through this experience which you are talking about, working with human so closely, what have you learned, or what is your insight about basic human nature?
First, I have learned is that you should never approach anything in life with a preconceived notion. That is the best way to lose the essence of everything. So you have to be a blank paper and let that image form in you. Because I also sketch people, and I like I don't know what I'll end up drawing is exactly about writing. I don't know what I'll end up writing, and that's about it. And I think that's a very fundamental thing that one should also, and it has sort of helped me deal with people in that manner also. And as I deal with them in this very sort of non-judgmental, non-preconceived notion way, I have become a very peculiar person. And I have my own set of interests. I like to be in my space. I have created certain set of people. People come and go, but I don't have a partner. I don't intend having a partner, though I don't know, it might happen. But the whole point is that I don't own anyone. It's like me, my life, I want to be like a well-ventilated room, which is like all windows open. And I experience all weathers or climates of life because my window is open.
What I understood from what you are saying, every person wants to, you basically go with the flow. That's what I understood. And every person wants to have that blank space, non-judgmental. I think that must be that, experience you must have had with every people. At the end of the day, when you reach that point, people are very comfortable. When you
Yes.
know that you are not judged, when you don't have any pre-notion about a person, and you are allowed to be what you are. I think that is what you are talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. And what it does is, and
Yes.
why do others, why do others appreciate it? Is a very interesting thought as well. See, I believe it's one of the greatest paradox. Life is a bundle of paradoxes and contradictions, but one of the significant one, in that one I deal with, is that we can see everything around us, but us, our own self. So the thing is, like in Hindi, there's a thing, chirag tale andhera. There is darkness below the candle, because you can't see. You need a mirror, and there has been society for thousands and thousands of years who didn't have a reflecting surface. They didn't see themselves at all for generations. Like if you show a dog a mirror, it'll start barking, thinking it's another dog. I play on this aspect. My ambition is to be that mirror, to be that existential mirror. And I want to bring out things everybody has a notion of themselves, but that notion is very subjective. When people look at them, they see a lot more other things that they might not be important or not registered by them. And so once you have that ambition to be a mirror, you show a very and you would, because you're inspired, you see a good image. That's why you're inspired. And the whole idea is to document it in a way that you reflect something beautiful to your subject.
Yeah. So it's so beautiful, to be able to become a mirror for somebody and able to allow the other person to see their true selves, which you are always confined to yourself, don't want to share it. It's absolutely beautiful. When you talk about this, or when you have mentioned about art, I really want to know a minute. I know your art is different, but for the audiences, I would like you to speak about your art, how you do it, and the way, because it was very interesting for me. And it's very challenging, to do that. But I would like to hear from you, Mihir.
Yeah. So I sketch people in the nude, and nudity in this space is a process. It's not the end of the exercise; it's the means to an end. It is like a ticket to enter this space, which I call private space for public nudity. Private because I ensure anonymity and privacy. Because it doesn't matter what you're called, how you look, how you're placed in the society, what your anecdotes are. Public in the sense that there is no connection of intimacy. It is just a spectacle. It's like switching on a heater and you feel the warmth. So I want to soak in energy of the person in full measure. And now, once I receive that energy, it starts to alter me, because I said, well, existentially, we are a microcosm, and I feel, I will use this quantum physics parable to describe this. It's called the entanglement. For some strange reason, if exposed in a certain way, and people get comfortable about their new state of being, is that I start to experience them inside of me. So and I then start to draw, because it's not, again, like the writing thing I said, it's not very predetermined. I end up drawing whatever. So I don't have a style. My strokes are bold or light or deep or rough, depending on the kind of energy. So it's like a cardiograph. It's like a echocardiogram where it all depends on your heartbeat. And so in a way, it is just that. And of course, sometimes it great gets into a form. And I draw what I feel, not what I see. And therefore, it also allows for that anonymity, and I avoid drawing faces, because I feel the face is the most manipulatable part of the body. Body itself never lies. And this whole notion of being, dark, fair, fat, thin, hairy, non-hairy, balding, aging, wrinkles, these things just go for a toss. And you are suddenly experiencing, and when you and the very fact that we are so conditioned. See, we humans are the most peculiar organism, because we devise a thing called clothes. Clothes allow us to be something that we aren't. No other denizen on the planet wears clothes. Initially, it was meant to protect, so that we can spread out to colder climes and stuff. But that became a second skin. And so we therefore dress up for different occasions because we want to project a different image. And in this whole thing, we spend a lifetime doing, so much so that we lose. These clothes also become a side of like an insulation to our own self being. It is more important that what we wear rather than how we feel. And the act of wearing itself becomes so and therefore the fashion industry thrives on it. They will give you ways of projecting yourself, though they might just sometime market things which are as good as being naked, and yet you feel that just by wearing it you qualify your being, and you tend to become something that you would want to, but you are not. But at an existential level, the most beautiful thing is like center of gravity. When you're close to the base, when you're close to your inherent self, like in Tantra, they say, and you're such an expert of Tantra, the Muladhar, the base, as long as your base is shifting, you might be a sage, it doesn't matter, you'll fall flat on your face. So this whole notion idea is at an existential level to take people to where they are, and it is a very very difficult thing. It takes hell lot of time. It doesn't happen automatically, but when it happens, even realization of your existential base for 5 minutes is like a energizing syrup, is like a tonic that will take care of for months of your things. So it's like being doped and you experience some nirvana kind of a moment, some great visuals, something. And even when you're down and out of it, you can just think of it closing your eyes and you feel energized again. It has sometimes becomes that potent experience. And people are so surprised in the way they themselves pan out in this space. Oh, did I do this? Oh, was I so comfortable? Or and this power equation. Power equations are highly skewed in my favor because I'm wearing clothes. My subjects are face to face with their own reality in such a sort of unprotected way, because clothes also in our mind become a kind of a shield. It protects us. We think. Anyways, so, but the power equations also change. Nudity becomes such a potent force within themselves. They, half of the time, when we enter into this, I call it orgasmic state of sketching, where they forget they're naked. I forget I'm naked. I forget they're naked. And then they are just a form, and in that state, they confront me with their nudity. So they become so powerful that, show me what you have drawn. They move around. I said, just, and they come close to me, and the whole equation changes. And I'm like, okay, we have to draw. You are getting too aggressive about your state of being, and that will my hands are shaking. That kind of a thing happens, and it's kind of beautiful, and that's why there are many people who come back to me again and again, and they always feel refreshed. And people ask me, why don't you get bored? After all, everybody, devoid of clothes would look more or less the same. Well, I said, well, neither do I, nor do my subject remain the same when we meet the second time or
Yeah, of course,
subsequently.
because everybody's
But
energy.
it's changing, and it is beautiful. Whatever may I may draw, because you see what your state of being is. So a lot of people who have posed over years feel that I draw them. I see aging in my. They see aging in my sketches, but I see no aging. I just see something else. So so what we see is also inside our head, not outside.
Yeah, yes, absolutely right. And it's so beautiful. I think I need a different session with you about the art. And it is so beautiful. To move forward, Mihir, with regards to the article which we had in our first issue
Yeah.
about Bandi Singh, which is a great photographer,
Hmm.
no words can describe.
Yes.
I would like to know what made Bandi Singh's photograph of Naga sadhus stand out to you, and how much they connected with your own artistic journey, whether it is writing or whether it is, nudity. I think everything is together in that particular photographs. That's what I felt. What do you think about it?
See, first of all, the way I deal with nudity and the way Bandeep deals with nudity are very different. In fact, he had asked me this question. He says, how important nudity is? And I said, nudity is just a process to me. It's not the end. For him, it is the documenting of nudity. But having said that, it's also very peculiar state of being because he is documenting Nagas, and Nagas attire is nudity. So nudity as an existential conditionality doesn't exist in the way we deal with it in our day-to-day life. They wear their nudity. So in a way, he hasn't sketched naked people because they wear their nudity. Nudity can also be a form of projection like clothes, because in certain profession like porn stars or like models or whoever, they attend to their body in a way that becomes a beautiful attire. The body becomes the attire. So in that sense, it is a huge difference. But such a great photographer he is, that he was able to, I thought, to demystify the mystics. And suddenly he made me experience things visually that I presume, would experience if I have had LSD or dope or something. That he made it, the mystics, very accessible. Having said that, and I had a conversation with him, and I said, "Are you, in that sense, manipulating reality?" And he said, "Well, I don't know, because sometimes at the time of clicking pictures, I was just concerned with the technicalities of how to handle a camera, aperture, all these details that one needs to deal with as a photographer. And once those prints came out, and they, of course, edited and worked on, he started to see a lot of elements that he didn't while he was clicking picture. And I think that is what the divine hand does. So a lot of things that you realize you ended up doing were not deliberate. It was this divine hand that was guiding through. And that makes his photography very interesting, that sometimes it's even beyond him. And this is what, say, for instance, sketching and writing and probably photography does to him, is that he's able to bring out things that is not there, that he himself is not aware of. And then you see your own work and you feel like, first, I felt that he might feel that it's not my photography. I didn't click it. Some divine hand did it through my I was a mean in this whole documentation of a bit. So it was quite extraordinarily incredible. And so this whole conversation I had with it, and that I wrote this piece, is to reinterpret his images. And a lot of times, one of the nicest compliment I got from Mandeep was that, "Oh, I didn't even look at it in the way that you have sort of interpreted it." So art, whether it's in writing, photography, sketching, or any other form, the moment it is born, it has a destiny of its own, and it starts like an individual, and it starts to engage with people in its own quintessential ways. So some people will interact with it differently, and therefore, in that sense, I think everybody who came to that exhibition and saw it had their own. They were mirrored in some way or the other, because how you feel about an image is a quintessential your own set of emotions at that point in time.
I completely agree with what you say, because sometimes when you do, especially even when I travel to places, at that moment of traveling, I am just there. But once I come back, I come back, I enjoy the travel. I look at it, I think about it, and I really enjoy. Even when it comes to work of painting, all these spaces, writing, while doing, I enjoy after that, because that is the time even I see the divinity in what they're doing. And exactly, I felt the same with your work, because when you are able to look beyond things, it's absolutely beautiful, Mihir. Mihir, we have some beautiful, quick, rapid fire questions for you.
Yeah.
Straight away, pen or pencil?
Uh, doesn't make a difference.
Sketching or writing?
When I'm writing, I miss sketching. When I'm sketching, I miss writing.
One book that changed your life?
Uh, I'm about to write it.
One book that what you read which has changed your life?
I write like Hunter Thompsons of this world, who wrote with complete disdain and under the influence.
A place you would like to travel to for inspiration?
my own heart.
One habit to swear by a creative person.
They're so disorganized.
Agreed. Early morning or late night work.
Well, lately have become like a late night person.
Which one word that defines your journey so far?
There are few, but I'd just say shunya.
Shunya.
Yeah. So, which means it's possibility.
Yeah.
Everything is a possibility.
Absolutely agree. Thank you, Mihir. It was a wonderful small 15 minutes of yours. I was just thinking, how
I
can
was
I
thinking
complete
that it's
15
long
minutes?
15 minutes.
How will we shorten it to 15 minutes with Mihir? Was a question for me, but we could. And
I,
thank you so much.
oh,
It was
it's
beautiful
absolutely a
meeting
pleasure.
you.
Thank you so much.
And I would
And
like to, I want you to share some of your works with me so that I can add on to.
absolutely, I'll be happy to do that. And I must say that it is always a pleasure to be conversing with you. And though we are using technology, one of the things that I want to finish saying is that technology, even this space connection, has nothing to do with physical space. You connect irrespective, and I felt that connection even today, though we are using technology as a medium to be in the same space. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mihir. Thank you so much.